All right, good day to you all. Sam back with you here. We're midday on March 1st, and second coin up for the day per members' request, and the voting that we do is for IOTA to Bitcoin on Binance. So on Binance, we don't have as much history here, but here's when it hits Binance, and then we've got a good low that we can work from. Now, IOTA is a pretty big project here. I should have had this loaded for you. IOTA. Let's get it up over here. We can see. I mean, of course, we're at 5 billion, almost 5.5 billion here. So very high scoring here, and here. Pretty consistent across the board, all in the mid 60s. Having a look here. So of course, as I've often mentioned, this is a good place if you want to dig into some of the fundamental research behind this project. Well, we can go over here to the trading exchange. As you can see, it's pretty evenly split on the trading between Bitcoin and the dollar. Bitfinex takes the bulk of it, but Binance is a contender up here. Many of my members are trading it on Binance here, so that's where we're going to look at it. I can find it. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay, so here's my work on it now. So we're working off of this low here. This is November 1st when we put that low in. All right, so there's certainly some choppiness here. It's not the cleanest count. So the first thought is just to look from swing low to swing high. Well, I'm going to open this up a little bit more so you can see it. We can certainly get a 5-wave structure out of this here. So we go up and we complete in the 5th here. So we get a 1 A, B, C into our 2. Right, here's the 3. Retrace for the 4 up, so we get an impulse wave into a 1 high. But then we go into the long drift that we're seeing in so many alts. So since the mid-December here, we've just drifted lower and lower and lower, and we've got all these complex, lengthy corrections, ABCs turning into WXYs as we connect to ABCs. So just, trying to get a handle on it. So with the first obvious thing you would do is just grab the swing low here to the swing high and kind of get a handle on where we are relative to that distance. Well, where have we traveled? Because potentially we've got a wave 2 going in here. Well, no surprise here. We come down right to the golden zone. We get a reaction, but we can't get any traction. And then again, we've seen this in so many alts where we get the reaction. That would have been the easy trade. ABC down for the 2 into the golden zone. Up we go. We don't get it. We get this long descending. It's subdivided here. So as I've told you guys before, there's WXY is not complicated. It's just connecting to ABC. So here's the first ABC. That's the W wave. X is the corrective wave of that part of the swing. Then we go into this long ABC, and there's some symmetry here, and it's trading technically here. So we can make a case for this. It's a little bit ugly. Now we've just broken through the 65 here, so that's going to trigger some resistance on the way back up. We're going to have to fight through the pulls from the swing low to the swing high. High to low, wherever that comes in on the way back up, we're going to have some algo sellers up there we're going to need to deal with. But could this be a low? Well, we can kind of dig in here. I'll go down to the 1 hour and see if we can make any sense. All we're trying to do is just qualify that pivot. Could this be the good pivot low? That this is just a little, we're completing. You can see a 5-wave structure here, potentially completing that 5th. Does that make sense? Well, if this is our X wave, and then it looks to me like we've got a truncated 5th here, like we just had this spike down here, but that looks like a 5-wave into an A wave. We get a complex B, but there's 3 in there up to the B, and now we've started down in this long C wave here, and again, just doing the same kind of measurement that we would to try and qualify it. Well, there's a 1 wave. Okay, well, let me just take this off so it's not crowded. They're hard for you to see. So 1 wave, we know a 2 can go as deep, anywhere from the 50 to the 786. So the 786 holds it. Right, so up we go, and 1, 2, 3 into the 618 to the 786 zone, and we come down. Here's the algo targets. We hit it twice. Reaction. Actually end up getting through it. So you would continue to look for their participation to see what the machines are doing, and we'd go, okay, well that worked pretty well. So there's potentially a 1. There's my 3. So I'd pull that off. Now I would just, again, we don't want to dwell too much over here, but I would just look through that as if that's playing as my 3. Well, what do I get? Well, here's the 50, and then we come right, just there's the front run on this on the negative 23.6. So you could certainly make a case here that we have a potential technical pivot here to work from. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, up we go to the 50, right down to the algo target, all good. So we're stacking up potentially a confluence zone here. We complete the 5th of the C. Completing the C completes the Y of the WXY and offering potentially a second wave low. Well, if that's a 2 wave and this is going to start to move higher, well, we got a lot of blue sky up above. We got a lot of distance we could travel even just to get up to this prior 1 wave. So, we're not likely to go straight. So as you can see, we've gotten to the other side of the Vegas wave, retracing here. So let's dig in there. I know my members are interested in this coin. They want to know if do we have something here that's tradable off of this low, lining these back up. Because we know that's a contender as a good technical low, as we just went through. Well, could this be? I don't love it already. So let me open this up. So potentially, could we have a diagonal starting here? Yeah, I don't love it. That's not real pretty. So we're losing some proportion here. Well, we'll measure it. The symmetry isn't great, but let's just check it, right? So we don't want to be assumptive, right? We don't want to walk away from it without doing the work to check it. Well, that's deep, right? So in actual, interestingly, it looks like we have not actually overlapped here. So let's get the wave 1 high wicked off here. Oh, that's interesting. So we come down and we pivot right there. So we're right. We get through the golden zone. So that's a warning sign. So that's not encouraging for bulls looking to get long. That's a tell of weakness there, that we went that deep. So we're likely going to bump into some algo resistance on the way back up. Looks like we may have already done that. So if I just do the same thing and I go from swing high to my lows here. Oh, here's the 50. We can see the reaction. We've come back down. So here's that target down here. So if this is going to continue to struggle and we're heading lower, well, then we would lose the potential for this count to play as a leading diagonal, right? So this, it's a bit of an ugly one as it is now. I suppose there's a possibility here that we had a truncated 5th. We had something like that, so we completed the 1. That's not. It's possible. It's a contender. So we could have a 1-2. So then you look at it this way and go, okay, well, the reason I'm going to use that instead of that is because an algorithm will use that. But you can see here, so it's barely breaking. That's holding. So that's enough for me to pause there and say, I don't love it, but it could be that we have a 1, 2 going in, 3, 4, 5. If we play it as a 2, then we can allow for more depth there. Let's go to minuet. So we potentially, I got to get that right on there. Potentially, there's more depth here for this to play as a 2, although it's probably be here. So so it would be an impulsive 1 with a truncated 5th. We don't overlap the 1, so this would be the 4 up for the 5. A, B, C. It's not gorgeous, but it's possible. So if that plays, so my hesitation there is that it's a little bit of a force. So to get more confirmation, I'm going to want to see this start to move up here. Because if this is just a 1, 2, and then we're going to go into the 3rd, well, we're going to need a 1 in the 3rd. So we know that given that coming to the 618, that this negative 100, as I've shown you many times, that's just a good way to sort of shorthand it. We know that's going to be very close. If this is a 1, 2, that's going to be very close to the 1618. So if we're going up here, come here. If we're going up here to play as a 3rd, and then we're going to retrace here for our 4th, and then get up for that 5th, that's possible, right? We might have the beginnings of that, and we could come back and look at this and qualify and say, oh, well, it made perfect sense, truncated fifth, boom, boom. But along the way, so because it's unclear, so my first question would be why? Why? There's so much to trade in crypto. Why force something here? Now, if you just love the project, then do you really care about the technicals as much? If you just like, oh, I just want to be long. Well, you could make the case that you certainly have retraced a lot of the move up that we just looked at earlier. We've gone through the 65 down here at this pivot. So if you love the project, this is not a bad place to be looking to buy. We certainly have retraced a ton of the first push that we had. So then you got to ask yourself, well, how much am I willing to give? How much? If you're just long and strong as a holder, then do you really care? Well, this is low enough. If you liked it here, you got to love it here. That's not how I would approach it. I would be looking, if I was hunting and if you will, stalking this coin for an entry. It's not good enough yet for me to put capital at risk. I'll probably get some hate comments for that, telling me how great this thing is going to be. It's how it's going to revolutionize everything. I'm not arguing that it's not a great project at all. I'm just saying, as a trader looking for a technical pattern that gives me confidence in putting capital at risk, that's not good enough yet for me. Now, if we start to move up, and I get a 5-wave sequence here, whether it's impulsive or diagonal, and I can get what potentially would be a 1-2 going towards that as my 3, well, then I get a little more confident in that, right? So then I'm more confident that I've got an ugly 1, a technically valid 2, and if I'm going to move up here in a 1-2, well, then I might get more interested. Right? At least that's just me. So I would be more comfortable taking it here if I get 5-wave subdivision here, even if I had to go down to a 15-minute. Can I get a clean 5-wave and then look to trade the first 50? That's all I'd be doing. So look like this. So if we come off of this in 5 and we can get a 1-wave established, and again, I'm hypothetical here. So can I get a buy-in right in here? Can I get into that right there, knowing that I've got some upside targets here that are substantial? Then the risk reward looks much more favorable to me, even if I gave it to the other side of the 786, which a 2-wave could do. There's enough potential reward there that I might consider that, although I probably would not trade it that way. I'd get on the other side of the 65. If I get stopped out, I'd rather take the small loser. If this is going to come down to the 786, then show me a good reaction off of that. Then show me a good reaction, because my target hasn't changed. So yeah, I took a small loser. Well, that's trading. Took a loser, didn't let it get out of hand. There's a bump back down here. We come back into this congestion zone. Think of it that way. Do I get a reaction there that's encouraging to me? The risk reward down here I like even better, because now if I'm a buyer at the 786, well, I know I'm wrong here if we take out these pivots. It looks like it may be about the same. So if we were going to take this out as a 2, you could be right on the other side, because then we invalidate the whole thing. Then we're no longer moving higher, and it looks like this, we might just have another one of these like we had over here. So we get the false break here, and then we roll over again. Then down we go. So this potentially sets up to be that same kind of thing. So we could be up here, and then it's just setting up to go down again. We don't know. So I wouldn't force a trade there. I'd want to see more confirmation. I'd wait to try and take a run at the second. If I get traction, then I can tighten up the stop. Let it roll. All right, guys, I'll keep this one short because I ran long on the other one. All right, back to you later.